There's a fascinating concept in your book in which you say that our actions can actually create reality. What do you mean by this? Tell us a little more about it and how it can inform organizational management.
Well, that really it was the kind of doorway to understanding the fifth discipline, which is systems thinking. And I've always thought the most elegant definition of systems or systems thinking is seeing how our own actions are shaping our reality. And we don't see that because we don't see the larger system. So I remember when our oldest son was just a kid, and we noticed a certain pattern. He'd come back from the playground, maybe he was 3 or 4, and I don't think this was idiosyncratic to him. So he would be telling us, "Oh, so and so is a good friend," and da da da, and so he's always talking about his friends, and then sometimes, a month later, that friend would now be somebody he didn't like at all. Oh, he's really a jerk. And every kid has a story, right? A story why he did what he did as a jerk. But if you examine that story, you'll often see something like this. Oh, well, we were playing and he threw some sand in my face. Oh, yeah, well, did he do that? Yeah, he really did that. That's not a fiction. But why did he throw the sand in my face? Well, because yesterday he asked to use my truck and I told him no. So he got really mad. So I don't see that today getting the sand in my face was a result of yesterday having been unwilling to share my truck. I just don't see that system.
Right.
I don't see what in the engineers we used to always call that the feedback loop between something I did and some consequence it has in my reality, which then leads to something new coming my way, which then I react to. So we see our action, maybe, we sometimes don't even see that, but to some degree we see our action, and when we see ourselves reacting to some new situation, we don't see what connects them. So the best doorway to understand systems thinking is our social reality. It's very complex. The reality of relationships is kind of our entryway for all of us as human beings into seeing the system. But we don't often, and it's one of the reasons that relationships are an ongoing, lifelong struggle. We're doing things and we don't see the many ramifications of what we do on others around us. So therefore, their actions or reactions are often kind of obtuse to us. We don't get it. And yet that's what's going on all the time. And you can just take that and extend it. Businesses don't see the consequences of their actions on the communities in which they operate. Societies don't see the consequences of their actions on other societies. Every country follows its own self-interest, not realizing that a lot of problems it has in the world are because of other countries that it finds themselves opposed, because you don't see how following your self-interest has actually caused problems for another. So whether it's kids on a playground or up to the global stage, this inability to see the larger system leads us to not seeing how we are in fact shaping our reality.